I'm Dave Albritton, representing the City of Clearwater. I'm your committee chair. I'd like to go around the room. I'll start to my left, so everybody can introduce themselves on the committee.
Max McCann, City of St. Petersburg.
Deborah Fig Sanders, St. Petersburg council member and PSTA chair.
Barbara Hazelton, appointee from the Pinellas County Commission.
All right. Thank you. Now's the time for public comment. And we have any public comment on items on the agenda or off the agenda? Nothing? Okay. Our first action item is approve the October 22nd, 2025 minutes. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Motion passes. Okay, item 4, which is PSTA contractors updates. Similar to the August meeting, we've got 2 more PSTA service providers. They're here to talk about their service. And Brad, are you gonna, and Brad and Chris gonna introduce?
Yes, so before I give it to Chris, good morning.
Good morning.
You might recall that at our workshops in the springtime, we talked about how PSDA is actually the most outsourced public transit agency in the state of Florida. And we have lots of different great contracted partners. And back in August, the planning committee saw presentations by 2 of our biggest contractors, TransDev for our mobility and access services, and then Jolly Trolley came in. And today we have 2 other very big contractors, longtime contractors, Uber and Bay Area Metro. And yesterday, I found this picture in my files. PSDA was the very first transit agency in the country to ever have a contract with Uber. And this is a picture from that ribbon cutting. It was not, people did not understand it. That was in Pinellas Park. But look, that girl no longer works for Uber, but she was the Uber person back then. And there's Nick Campus back then. This was in 2016.
Wow.
So Nick, and you'll hear from them, they have been a longtime partner. That's with Chris. 1 year later, we expanded it, and there's a much bigger crowd that signed on to the whole partnership. Nick is over there looking cool with the shades, and there's some more Uber people. Senator Brandis was there. There's another person that you might recognize. Darden is in that picture with Bill Johnson. But yeah, I just found these. I thought it was interesting that these two companies you're going to hear from today have been really great partners for a very long time and providing a lot of good mobility for people in Pinellas County.
Thank you, Brad. My name is Chris Macklin. I'm the Deputy Director of Mobility Services here at PSTA. And I am super excited in regards to our special guests that we have here today. We have members from Bay Area Metro. They'll be presenting information about their current programs and services partnership with PSTA. They also have some new information about Bay Area Metro and Z-Trip merging together. So they'll be providing information in regards to that, as well as some new software, with the aim to increase customer experience when they're riding our services, okay? And then we have members from Uber, right? So they're here to share information about their business model. Also, they'll be sharing information about their current programs and services and how they partnership with PSTA as well. And what I'm also super excited about is there's a program that Uber will be sharing with us today, and it's called Uber One. And that is aimed to, and it's informational wise, nothing is going to be started today or this week, but it's informational wise to share with the team today in regards to delivering groceries to our people that we serve in the community, our individuals with disabilities. So without further ado, we do have Chris Campbell. He's worked for Uber. He's from the South Carolina office. We have Andy. He's from the New York office. And then we have Judith from the DC office and Kelly from Virginia, I believe. So without further ado, if you would like to join me. And this is the Uber team that will be continuing with the presentation.
Thank you, Chris. I gotta figure out how to get into a ribbon cutting here. This is Let's see if I can figure this out. Well, first of all, let me just start by thanking you all, members of the planning committee and our PSTA friends. Thanks for the opportunity to come in here and share a little bit about our journey with you all. I can tell you, I've been in this industry now, and I was telling Lucian, the tech and sort of transit sort of combined industry for 25 years, and PSTA is not second to anybody in this industry. I'm talking about nationwide, and especially when it comes to mobility and innovation at the end of the day. And that's a real tribute, and we're just honored to be a small part of kind of the mobility and working with PSTA and mobility in this region. We've got a short but robust agenda for you. Chris sort of alluded to this. We're going to talk a little bit about who Uber is and kind of our role in Uber in the transit space. Talk a little bit about the PSTA story, kind of what is it that we're doing for you all here, and kind of dive into that a little bit. And then certainly here for any questions and answers from the committee. I'll start by just quickly letting our team introduce themselves. Maybe Andy, we'll start with you on the end there.
Yeah, hi folks, my name's Andy Willard, I'm a customer success manager on the Uber Transit team. I've worked with PSTA for about 2 years now, so the fabulous mobility team, it's been great to partner with them and help across all of the programs. Excited to be here today.
I'm Kelly Zalewski. I lead our customer success team, and our team's mandate is to support our clients after a program is launched so that you can get the most value out of your partnership with Uber. And prior to working with Uber, I worked at Marin Transit, which is a public transit agency in the San Francisco Bay Area for 6 years. So I'm really delighted to be here today.
Awesome. I'm Judith Bernholk. I'm a customer success manager here at Uber. I'll be starting to work more closely with the PSTA team. I joined in September and am just an avid urbanist. So very happy to be here and be presenting here today.
Fantastic. And rounding it out, my name is Chris Campbell, and I help oversee the Florida transit business for Uber. I'm excited to be here. So I'm sure that most of y'all are probably familiar with Uber at the end of the day, but we're a technology company, and we are blending the physical and digital worlds to kind of move things in an on-demand nature, right? If you need it now, we want to be able to provide that to you. And that's goods, that's moving riders, as we talk about here. We'll get a little bit more into that detail. We've got a platform, as you can see, that connects over 180 million monthly active riders with more than 8.8 million active drivers and couriers globally. Right, so that's that platform that's bringing all that together to kind of make these programs work. So diving in maybe a little bit narrow into the transit kind of space. Uber, probably unique in the non-dedicated service market, has made a real commitment to public transit. And that's a commitment to an investment in the industry in terms of how we hire and the teams that we bring in. So you just heard from like Kelly, for example, who ran a transit system. Right, most of our employees are come from the transit industry, whether it be operations, technology, consulting, and so forth. We obviously strive to provide a proven, safe, and compliant. Right, there's some stuff that Braden has been helping us spearhead in the industry to make sure that we can continue these programs at an FTA level. So we have to make sure these programs are very compliant, and we've got to work with our transit partners to ensure that. And then, making a commitment to providing the service, right, in markets that we serve, and making sure that the drivers and the supply are available for these types of programs. Just to give you an example, in 2024 alone, we did 5.6 million public transit trips. It's a lot of trips in public transit and working with, and you'll see, PSTA did a fair share of those trips. So just to kind of maybe broad picture here as well of some of the programs that we offer, and then I'll let them dive into kind of the PSTA specific. But we provide a myriad of programs to kind of complement and supplement public transit, and you can see kind of some of the examples. Many of these are programs that we have with PSTA, the Direct Connect, the Mobility on Demand programs. You'll see kind of those. These programs can be very broad. They can be very niche. So we've done things with related to hurricane relief, where there's maybe a disruption in a community and they need help in a particular situation. There's areas where we have mobility deserts and we might need to help, where they've removed maybe a fixed route, and so we don't want to leave those folks stranded, and so we can give them an Uber voucher to kind of help them navigate and continue on with their life. We have community-based programs. One of my favorites is a program that we do with Embark, which is in Oklahoma City. Parents who have had a child welfare case, we help them reunite with their children as they've kind of improved themselves, right, and gotten back on their feet. And so, again, very specific programs to a very broad, stroke programs as well. Then you can see it's a myriad of different of agencies that we work again across the country. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Judith.
Awesome. Yeah, so it was alluded to earlier, but PSTA was one of Uber's first partners, which we're really excited about and really proud of. And Kelly, my manager, talked about how she was at Marion Transit before, and she was actually at a session where PSTA was presenting on their Uber partnership when she was still there. So it's really exciting to see how you guys have brought innovation and kind of thinking about ways to help the community in different ways. And on top of that, as Chris alluded to, also helping advocate for TNCs at the federal level, which we really appreciate because it helps us, continue to operate and work with you all to serve your communities. So want to start out that, in 2016, you were one of our first partnerships and you launched the Direct Connect service, which is this first mile, last mile service, which I'll talk about a little bit more in the next slide, as well as later on in 2016, the Transit Disadvantaged Late Shift Program. So really helping folks that qualify for that program get to and from work after hours. Those programs were successful. So in 2018, the Direct Connect program expanded to 24 transit stations. And then in 2022, we expanded working with the TD program for Tampa Bay Transit for inter-county travel. So helping folks get to and from inter-county travel to get to and from work for those that qualify for that program. And then in 2023, we integrated with your Spare API to provide mobility on demand. So this has become a very popular program, and we've really seen success in helping folks that can't leverage the current public transit system get to and from where they need to be. And we're really excited about how that has better served the community. And so now 2024 and beyond, we're really seeing success in these programs, really excited to continue to partner with you and kind of work through all of these different use cases, whether it's first, last mile, helping those that qualify for certain programs, or helping folks in paratransit get where they need to go on demand. So I'll dive a little bit into the just descriptions of what these programs are to give you some of that background. So Direct Connect is the first mile, last mile program. So what this means is, you don't live within walking distance from a bus station, but the bus network can get you to where you need to go. So what this does is it provides a $5 Uber voucher for someone to be able to get to and from the bus station. And we've seen over 142,000 trips taken in 2020. So we're really excited to plug into your bus network and help people leverage the service that may not have been able to just because they're not within walking distance of a bus station. The next is the Transportation Disadvantage Program. So we have the after hours transportation to get to and from work. So if the traditional systems aren't running that late, this helps people still be able to get to and from their job. And then TD Tampa Bay, so inter-county travel to and from work. This is based off of eligibility. Really excited to partner with you all in this program, and we've seen over 5,000 trips since 2020. And then last, but definitely not least, we have Mobility on Demand. So this is on-demand paratransit, and this provides on-demand curb-to-curb service for those who cannot independently ride the bus or take other forms of public transportation. Very popular, really helps the community for those who need a little extra help getting around, and we've seen over 280,000 trips since 2020. So these are all of the programs that we work with you on today. They've seen great success, and we're excited to partner with you on them. Andy is going to talk a little bit more about the numbers this year so far to bring this a bit more into context.
Yeah, thanks. So the year so far with Uber, I think what I want to emphasize, right, we have complemented the services that you guys run, and we're really excited to do that. Just looking here at cumulative 140,000 Uber trips between January and October for PSTA riders. So I know you guys are well aware, but particularly for Mobility on Demand, those are riders who are going to school, they're going to healthcare appointments. They're traveling for essential services. So, we've been really appreciative to be a part of that. With Direct Connect, right, we're plugging into the fixed route system that you guys have. Grand Central Station is the top location for direct connect trips, which makes sense, and it's really cool because again, you guys have the Sunrunner, and so we, can like theorize that we are plugging riders into that less rapid transit, which is really cool. And again, transportation disadvantaged, helping riders get to and from work. So we just really appreciate that opportunity to work with PSTA. I think one thing we're very proud of is our average fares. So these trips that we're offering riders are significantly lower than anything happening on a dedicated fleet. I know it's not, one-to-one, it's not every rider's perfect trip, but it does work for some riders, and for those that it does, I think they see a real benefit in the Uber service. So, in our wait times there too, we have a very strong supply in the county. So, again, just happy to be a part of these programs and looking forward to the future. So I'll hand it over to Kelly.
It's a great segue.
You mind advancing it?
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So Judith and Andy have spoken to you about how Uber and PSTA have been partnering for the past several years, and now we're gonna look ahead. The Uber One membership option is another example of PSTA really being on the leading edge in the industry. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how it works and then the expected impact. So the goal with a pilot like this will be to encourage folks to they'll have more options for how they get their groceries. They can either choose to go to the grocery store or in this case have their groceries delivered to their home. And so how it would work is PSTA would pay for the Uber One membership for a year, and then the riders would have the option to go into the Uber app, and then they can actually deliver their groceries in lieu of taking a paratransit trip to and from the grocery store. So the impact would be that it gives riders more choice. For whatever reason, they might choose to stay home that day and have their groceries delivered right to their door. And then that would also free up additional capacity on the paratransit service for those rides that are not taken to and from the grocery store. So it's a really great opportunity for PSTA, again, to give riders more options. And lastly, we just want to highlight another way that Uber supports your community here in Florida. So we know emergency management is really important, especially during hurricane season and preparedness. So most recently, we partnered with the Florida Department of Emergency Management to provide rides, fully subsidized rides for individuals in counties that were being evacuated to go to or from a shelter. Over nearly 6,000 residents had the promotional code applied to their Uber wallet, and nearly 2,800 rides were taken during that time. And this is just, I think all of these things that we've been talking about, there's a myriad of ways that Uber can support PSTA and other transit agencies like yours, and we're just really grateful for the opportunity.
I'll quickly conclude. I was just thinking about this, I think a mark of good programs and good service and a good transit agency comes from your outside peers. And again, traveling around and working and setting up these partnerships all over the state of Florida, all the way out to Phoenix, Arizona. It's amazing how many people come to me and say, hey, what about this agency PSTA in Florida that's doing these unique programs? We hear about them at these conferences and this and that. And so to be part of that, it's really gratifying for us, but also I think it's a tribute to you all, right, as well, who have set up and been on the leading edge of these innovations, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Again, I was just telling, I think Bonnie last night, there's a Bobby in Votran, Volusia County, and they went to the board last night for a program to kind of mimic a lot of what they're doing here, and so they've been gracious enough to share the information, but it goes noticed worldwide. So thank you for the opportunity and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the board?
Yes, I have some questions. On the Uber One, okay, it says it's a membership, a membership for the rider or a membership for PSTA?
Okay, I'll let you.
Yeah, it's a membership for the rider, so PSTA would pay for that membership fee. And then when the rider orders their groceries, they wouldn't have any delivery fees that they would have to pay for, so they would just pay for the groceries.
Alright, so the fee is how much
It's $96 per year.
per year? Okay, and what's the limitation on how many times they can use that service?
There's no limitation on the number of times. The only thing to keep in mind is the grocery order needs to be over $35 for the delivery fee to be waived.
Okay, so do these rides count to the National Transit Database?
No, they would not. No.
Okay,
The idea, and this is still early,
Right.
early in concept, and it was really an idea that Mayor Petrilla had.
yes, I saw that, I remember
The
that.
the idea would be that we would do a pilot with a very small number of PSTA Access customers that are currently taking a $55 or $60 ride each way to Publix grocery. And it would be totally up to them, we wouldn't force anyone to do this, but just see if we could reduce the number of very expensive trips in exchange for having the groceries delivered to them,
Right.
to their house.
So who does the shopping at the store?
That would be an Uber courier.
Oh, the Uber driver does the shopping.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
So the rider has, they have their app up, they can select which grocery store they wanna order from and then exactly the items that they want. And then Uber, our technology will dispatch that to a courier who will go into the store, pick the items. If anything's not available, the rider wouldn't be charged for that, or they can also communicate about replacement items. And then the courier would drop them at the rider's store.
Uh-huh.
So, Brett, I have a question to follow up on that.
Uh-huh.
So how do you qualify for something like this?
You wanna do that one?
Yeah, so the riders that would be as part of our pilot would be our PSA Access customers. So the rider would first have to qualify, be in PSA Access.
Access.
Yeah, and we'd look for riders that are, using the service a lot, especially for grocery trips.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I am certain, respectful to this great company, they would love 100% of all of our riders to be signed up for Uber One and, get groceries delivered hither and thither. That's not the goal. That's not my goal. My goal is to save money for PSTA by seeing if we can maybe have some trips that are just we're spending a lot of money to get people to the grocery store and back, maybe at a lower cost way. So it's probably gonna be a mini pilot to start.
Yeah, a lot of riders, they like going to the grocery store. We don't wanna stop anyone from going out into the community, but some riders would really prefer to have their groceries delivered. It might be easier for them, so kind of look for those people to try this pilot at first.
Okay.
So the access customers, are those qualified are these financially qualified,
No, that's based on disability.
disability?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Well, first of all, thank you and welcome. And Brad, you touched on one of my first questions is, if we make money on PSTA Access, I understand we wanna cut cost, but is there any conversation in regards to if we offer to PSTA Access customers the normal revenue that we would get from that? Have we had conversations to compensate any income that we may be losing in this partnership?
So what the idea with saving money is the cost for customers per trip is actually pretty high on Access. We're paying a lot for customers to take any trips, especially going to the grocery store. So if instead of the customer going to the grocery store, a couple times a week, if we have the groceries delivered to them, we're saving on that trip.
Okay.
We're not
Reducing
paying.
our operating costs.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're using, so that was the clarity that I wanted everyone to understand. So if a PSTA Access rider, we're spending $50
Mhm.
per cost on that.
Yeah.
By us referring them now to the Uber One program, we're spending $20 per rider, correct? Is that the correct example?
Well, theoretically, we would be spending the $96 a year. So, and then the customer's gonna pay for the groceries, we're not gonna pay for the.
Yeah, cause I will be using that.
Yeah. So essentially, we would save, it's $50, 55 or whatever the number is, each way. So it's like $110 that we could save.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, some of that is covered by the $450 copay, but the vast majority PSDA is paying for.
Right.
And then if we just keep it manageable, that we're really offsetting those expenses, this would save us money.
Okay, and I would love to see those numbers. I would love to see what that looks like with us with that one. So thank you for that. I saw on the slide where you talked about safety initiatives. And that is a big concern for a lot of people that have never used Uber before or now like the Uber One. One of the requests would, number one, would an Access Rider user that's using Uber One, would they have an option of select, they may get one thing about our older riders, they develop relationships. And would they be able to request a specific Uber driver?
So selecting a specific Uber driver isn't an option that's available, but there are a lot of features built into the app regarding safety, and that is something that we're constantly trying to develop out. One of the more recent ones is, for folks who do have the app, right? It now prompts you to, if you feel, not even if you feel unsafe, you can record audio during your call if that makes you feel more comfortable with that driver. Within the app, you can contact emergency services. We also have a dedicated safety team that does review any sort of incident that may occur on those trips. So it's something that we really do prioritize in terms of developing out that app. And that's another reason why myself and Judith do work with PSTA, right? Any sort of escalation that has to do with rider safety will come to us. And we can work with you guys to make sure that rider does feel safe using the platform moving forward, and that they have the peace of mind to do so.
Okay, well, you answered my other questions again, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Chair.
I have another question.
Okay.
So I remember when I first got on the board, Bonnie, you gave a presentation about the growth of the, so I'm just trying to connect the dots here in my mind. So these access customers based on disability, are these the same people that were switching from what? A TransDev ride over to Uber?
That's
that
the
correct?
idea, that instead of the customer taking any of our access or MOD services to, are you talking about for the
To the
Uber One?
grocery.
Yeah, instead of taking a ride on access or MOD, that has a cost to get there and back, they could be in this pilot and have the groceries delivered, so they wouldn't be taking that trip. So we could, in theory, have fewer trips or platform hours with TransDev to save money.
And so TransDev, the TransDev cost per ride was how much to go to the grocery?
Any trip, I think we were talking, it's in the $50 range,
Uh-huh.
it's pretty high.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, if it wouldn't be automatic, but as, more customers we enroll in this Uber One, we could reduce those platform hours, have fewer vehicles out on the road and save
So basically,
money.
moving from the TransDev van, right, am I speaking correctly? Moving from the TransDev van over to the Uber in the past that was so popular. Was it a cost neutral move, is that true?
Well, as they showed in their presentation, I think the average cost of PSA Uber ride that we're paying is like 16 or
Yeah.
something like that, 16.60 per ride. So it is substantially lower cost than our TransDev, $50-some for each ride. But Uber and Lyft are much more popular because they come right away.
Yeah.
As we explained, that's what Bonnie was presenting.
So it's kind of a cost neutral move.
Yeah, demand is much higher
Yes.
for the real-time rides. So that's why a year ago, Bonnie was up before the board talking about increasing the amount that the riders would pay based on if they take a lot of rides and things like that, which has sort of kind of leveled off the demand like we hoped.
Right, are we gonna put a limit then, maybe that was in the presentation, on how many, you said $35. I mean, I can see this really being,
The grocery thing?
abused.
No, me too. That's why we're not gonna even advertise it. No offense
Yeah.
to them.
No offense taken.
I mean, we're going to carefully select a few very important individuals that are costing us a lot of money.
Right.
Going to the grocery store multiple
And it's
times a
gonna
week.
pilot. It's
They're
not
gonna,
gonna be
they're
an
gonna go to
open,
their card club, tell
Okay.
everybody.
cause it'll be so popular. It
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be
And
popular,
I think that's what I was alluding to earlier, it's like, okay,
yeah.
alright.
yeah, so
So,
kind of
so,
on the
I mean, so you could limit this to so many times a week in addition to $35?
Yeah.
I mean, I would come out with that limitations, of how many times a week or how many times a month, so they can schedule how they wanna make their shopping list bigger than more often.
Yeah.
So big.
But I will say, based on that comment, a lot of our seniors or those that are disabled don't do it because they need it. They need that social interaction, they wanna get out,
Yes.
so that's why they do it multiple times, and you do wanna encourage that for our seniors, you really do, you want to make sure that they're still active, that they're still mobile, that they're still greeting and seeing other people, other than staying
Well, I don't think
secluded.
that's in our mission statement.
No, it's not, but it should be in our humanity statement. It should be in, I understand the fact, if they could go out 3 times a week, this would be a perfect program for them. But I just want us to be mindful that it's not always based on obvious necessities, right? So sometimes we have to engage with our writers, whether it's in our mission or not, that works best for them. So I just don't want us to lose sight of that.
Yeah, I think for our pilot, we can talk to riders and see like who would want to be a part of this and who is maybe more interested in, hey, I still wanna do my grocery shopping, I like to see people. But there are other customers who it's a really big hardship, they're in a lot of pain, it would be a big help to them to
No, I
have the
agree.
groceries delivered.
Okay, and those are the ones, like I said, I think that will benefit greatly for it. And I guess I'm alluding to the question is, how are we going to, I know that there's special certain customers that we're going to engage and introduce this to. Did you have a set number based on the previous question?
Yeah, we had talked about 15 people for the pilot at first, around that,
Thank you
just
for
to
letting
try
me
it out.
jump in, I'm so sorry. Okay, all right, thank you.
If I may, I think it's another good example of maybe somebody who is, normally healthy but takes the service, the transportation aspect of the service, but for whatever reason is fighting a cold and has a compromised immune system. This becomes a really good option for them not to get maybe out into the public and maybe, and exasperate the illness that they have too.
Alright, very good. Any other questions?
Okay, I have one more. What's the number count that we usually, how many riders do we have that are accessed using?
Oh, active customers, we have a few thousand riders.
I'm only offering it 15.
Yeah, just as a pilot to test and kind of see how it goes at first. Uber is certainly up for expanding
lot
that
more,
pilot. Yeah, if we
Take
want
all-
to.
Oh, how many, all 15,000 that we have? They'll take each one, okay, thank you for that, good to know the numbers, thank you.
I got a quick comment. I'm usually pretty good at keeping my mouth shut, but I can't help but point out that we have to do things like this as a Band-Aid because through zoning, we've made it illegal to build walkable mixed-use developments in most of the country, which would benefit seniors, where they could live in close proximity to the things that they need. It's not anything that the PSTA can do something about, but to the extent other people in their professional opportunities have the chance to do zoning reform, that's the real root cause analysis to me of how to empower the people that we've disenfranchised because we've been building communities where you have to have a car to get around. Love the presentation, love it. I wish we didn't need as much of things like that. So my little soapbox, thanks for letting me do that, thank you.
Excuse me, how many did you say we currently have that are using you said 15, but how many are currently using?
We don't have an Uber One pilot yet.
Yes, I know, but you're gonna target 15 people,
Yeah.
but how many in all did you say?
Oh, that are active access riders, a few thousand. I just gotten back from leave, so I think it's 3,000 active riders or so.
3,000?
Yeah, that have taken a trip in the past 6 months or so.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much for
Thank
being
you all.
here and
Appreciate
answering our
it.
questions.
Now, Nick.
And now we'll, Chris, are you gonna introduce
Yes,
Bay Area Metro?
yes. Great presentation, Uber. And just, I was just sitting back there and observing just all the questions that you guys was asking. And I think we all agree that Uber plays a huge role in what we do here at PSTA. So with the reliable service, dependable, accessible service, and innovation as well. So we appreciate Uber coming out,
Yep.
presenting those initiatives today. So thank you so much. So without further ado, just cut to the chase. We have members from Bay Area Metro here. You can join us, and I will pass it along to you to talk about the programs and services that they're currently providing with PSTA, and also talk about the merging of Bay Area Metro and Z-Trip. So
Thank you, Chris.
take it away.
Mike Dean, my name is Nick Cambus. I'm the President and CEO of Bay Area Metro, and currently the new Regional Vice President for Z-Trip. And congratulations, Uber, that was amazing. As a lifelong owner of taxis and transportation companies, I think it was kind of a sour joke you guys played on me. Everybody I meet in public for the last 10 years, when they say, "What do you do for a living?" and I say, "Well, I'm in the transportation business. We have taxi cab companies." They get a sad face and they say, "What has Uber done to your business?" Well, now you know. You got these young, articulate young folks, and they definitely know what they're doing. So my name is Nick Cambus, as I mentioned before. Mike Dean is here with me. We both live in this community. We spent our lives here in this community, raised our families here, and we are blessed to have a almost 40-year relationship, partnership with PSTA. I started contracting with Roger Sweeney and Mike Siebel in the 80s. So we'll tell you a little bit about that and a little bit about where we're going with our company. So it's not on any of my slides, but I do want to put this in perspective for you. Our company, about a third of our work comes from cash business that are people going to and from grocery stores, going to work. About another third of our business is people that are on business travelers, paying with credit cards, going to our local beaches and amusement places. And the other third of our business is business partnerships that we have in this community. So PSTA is our largest business partner, but we certainly do business with all of the Baycare facilities, most of the hospital chains and medical facilities in the area. Many businesses use us for delivery services as well as their transportation modes. So we do approximately between 1,500 and 2,000 requests a day in our call center, our local call center here in Pinellas County. PSTA represents about 8 to 10% of that volume that we do every single day. So just to put it in perspective of where we are with our business model and our partnership with PSTA. So thank you very much. A little bit about our experience and our commitment to our community. Again, Al Burns, Bonnie, everybody on the PSTA team has my entire team's cell phone numbers. They know where we live, they know our fingerprints, they know who we are, and we have partnered with them for a very long time. We also have a long-standing relationship with most of the community facilities in the area, and the International Airport being one of them. Our drivers have been community ambassadors, many times being the first and last time people that people see in our community. We have a little internal magazine that we used to do called Pride, and a little bit about our business. Our Yellow Cab brand has been here since 1923. We're super proud of that. We have efficient, safe, timely, reliable. We provide on-demand and pre-scheduled trips. A little bit about some of our airport services over the years. We've had, we used to man a booth out there, just some information for you guys. This is our stand at the St. Pete Clearwater Airport. It really dovetails well with the whole grouper facility, new program that PSTA has. We have our vehicles staged out there, and it was able to dovetail really nicely into your new grouper. And I understand there's a new one, Bonnie, called Snapper that may be coming soon too. So the grouper program, and this is some of the information that we have and what the facility looks like out at the airport. Again, we have over 100 years faithfully serving Pinellas County residents, and we have a local presence, and now we have a national support partner, and that's our Z-Trip partner. We're gonna tell you a little bit more about that, what that means. We have offices here in Pinellas County. Bonnie and her team, Chris, they come out and visit us sometimes, do inspections on our facility, our documents, our vehicles. We are fully vetted. We do background checks on all of our drivers, fingerprints, drug tests, you name it. We're doing it. Mike's done the NTD report, I don't know, Mike, 30 years? 30 years for PSTA. Decades of community partnership with several innovative transportation programs with PSTA. We've also been partners with St. Pete Clearwater Airport since the 1980s. So national support and local presence, and that's really what my decision was to try to partner with Z-Trip. Z-Trip, you can go on to the next slide. Z-Trip, and what the merger is gonna mean for PSTA. So Bay Area Metro is now part of the Z-Trip family. There's 40 markets that we operate in across the US. My region is the southeast of the United States. You know, it's continuity, keeping the same local leadership, myself and Mike, and many of our team members that PSTA staff is well familiar with. But the benefits to PSTA is increased technology and data capabilities, stronger and safe compliance systems that we'll be implementing over the next 12 months, expanded vehicle and maintenance resources. We got some pictures of some of our new vehicles that are coming in. And access to a national best practices in the transit partnerships is all part of our Z-Trip model that we're going forward. And a big focus for us right now is a seamless transition with zero disruption to existing programs that we provide with our partnership with PSTA. This is kind of our map. It's not completely updated because it doesn't have the St. Pete Clearwater area in here, but we run around 4,000 vehicles right now nationwide. We do a tremendous amount of ADA paratransit, mobility on demand, NEMT, school, and transit overflow. We're delivering over 25 paratransit and on-demand microtransit programs right now across the nation. These are some of the executives from Z-Trip. I didn't have one of the newest slides. Bill George, the CEO, and myself have been friends for almost 30 years. I think it's 28 years now. Him and I have known one another. Dwight Kynes, the Chief Operating Officer. John Schilling was our IT partner at MTI. He has just moved over with us now onto the Z-Trip team, so that's gonna bring some continuity. And Chris knows him from Uber. He is one of our business development people on the national level. Keeping with the familiar faces. I've been around for a long time. This is my team, Steve Wesley, Mike Dean, myself, and Scott Bellis, who just recently retired last year after 43 years of service here with us. Our management team and staff has over 500 years of local combined experience for delivering service. Our local communication center receives and delivers more than, well, I think it's around between 750 and 1 million requests each year. We have a long-standing working relationship with PSTA. We live here, you know who we are, and it's easy to get in touch with us every single day. Mobility and integration. So we're very proud of the fact that if PSTA dreams it up, their marketing team dreams it up, Al comes up with the guidelines for a program, we are very anxious to partner with PSTA and be able to deliver those services. So right now, these are a number of the programs that we participate in. The ADA Access Program, the Mobility on Demand, the Healthy Hop up in Tarpon Springs, Direct Connect, the East Lake Woodlands ADA Access, the TD Daytime and Nighttime Programs, Essential Workers, TD Direct Connect Grouper and soon to be Snapper, as well as TD Tampa Bay. Here's some of the statistics that maybe you might be interested in. When we first provided some of these statistics, they were for the current contract year. I believe Mike went and revised these. We wanted to make sure that you were aware of some of the contract dates, how the fleet is, some of our programs have dedicated vehicles to those and other ones have access to the entire fleet that we have in this particular area at the time. The amount of trips that we've provided for each one of those programs since the inception of those contract dates. The cost, the overall cost, what the copay to the rider is, and what is billed to PSTA. Lots of ways you can get in touch with us. Most of you have seen the 777s driving down our highways and our streets, but we certainly have a web booker. We have taxi butlers at many of the local medical facilities. We have an app that's on Androids and all iPhones. And PSTA mentioned to us that in the future they'd like to be able to have text messaging, and so we're working on that through our new technology partner. Investment in vehicles. So this is the new brand. This is what a Z-Trip will look like. We've recently received 20 of these vehicles. We're in the process of setting those vehicles up. I believe about half a dozen are on the road right now. This is what the brand will look like. I think by the end of the year, we're gonna receive another 10, so we should have about 30 on by the end of the year, with next year rolling out at least another 30, so there'll be about 60 of these vehicles on Pinellas County roadways. The big thing I would like to point out to you, and I mentioned to Brad and Bonnie, is we are going to be adding accessible transportation to our portfolio. We currently are only providing ambulatory rides, but we will be offering wheelchair services. And I have to meet with Al and Bonnie and Chris and really talk about how we can assist PSTA ridership with that additional services. Spare Labs, we just wanted to mention real quickly, PSTA had previously had a partner, an IT partner, it was called Going. We were completely interfaced with Going. They moved to Spare Labs. We have we actively working with Spare. We have an API. Most of our trips come through the Spare software and go directly into our system through the API. We are moving to an AutoCAD and that migration, we are fully working right now with Spare and our AutoCAD partners to make sure that continuity stays in place. And the closing and next steps, reinforcing our commitment to our community partnerships, innovation and reliability that we brought to the table, an ongoing collaboration with PSTA on technology and operations. And my name is Nick Cambus and this is Mike Dean. Most of you probably know Mike as well for many years being here. And I think that's it. And I wanted to answer any questions that you guys may have for me.
Any questions from the board?
Wonderful.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Nick and Michael.
Yeah, thank you.
As the rider, right?
Yeah.
You've ridden their services recently.
I know, I'm a experienced rider with you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so now Devin Deal, welcome. PSA's Planning and Data Analysis Manager is here to give us early results from the route optimization PSA completed recently and connected community bus plan.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Albrecht. Good morning, Planning Committee. I think as some of you know, this presentation typically goes to Finance Committee, but we wanted to make sure we left room for discussion on the ferry, so we moved this one to Planning. As Commissioner Albrecht said today, I'm here to give you some of our preliminary updates from our first few weeks of service in the Connected Community Bus Network that we just implemented starting on October 26th last month. So first of all, what you see here, for this data, I used October 1st to 15th compared to November 1st through 15th. In blue is October average daily rides by day type, so weekday, Saturday, Sunday. And orange is average daily rides for the first 2 weeks of November. And we made a lot of these changes because we felt like there was a higher demand for weekend ridership than the service that we had out there. And in the first few weeks, we've seen that bear out in the data. So our weekday ridership, as part of this change, we removed some of our peak weekday service because we have not seen the same demand since the pandemic, and we reallocated that service to the weekends. So we've seen about a just over 1% decrease in our weekday ridership, but we see a 6.5% increase in our Saturday ridership and a 2.5% increase in our Sunday ridership compared to the previous month. So again, preliminarily, we are seeing some of the trends that we expect, and it's already bearing out in the data. We also have some new bus routes and some old ones, and our mix-up of our top ridership routes has changed. So this is again just the first 2 weeks of November. We now see our top 5 ridership routes here, and they correspond to the map on the right. So our highest ridership route now is the Sunrunner. On the map, that is in orange, traveling from downtown St. Petersburg all the way over to St. Pete Beach. That's about 2,400 rides a day on weekdays, and it had about 35,000 rides through the first half of November, on pace for about 70,000 rides. Route 4, which has also consistently been one of our higher ridership routes, that travels from South St. Petersburg, now all the way down at that Bay Point Publix at the end of 34th Street, where it can connect to our Spark service. That travels through South St. Pete and then all the way up 4th Street to PSTA. And we're seeing about 2,500 average daily rides on weekdays on Route 4, which is our second highest ridership route now. Route 18 is another one that was consistently in our top 5, another route that has largely remained unchanged as part of this effort. That goes from Grand Central Station in St. Petersburg, along Tyrone Boulevard and Alt 19, all the way up to Park Street Terminal in Clearwater. Just over 2,000 rides a day, on pace for about 60,000 rides a month, which is in line with how this route's performed in previous years. Route 52 was consistently our number 1 highest ridership route. It was between 80 and about 95,000 rides a month, depending. And we saw kind of 2 distinct markets that this route was serving. First of all, it came from Grand Central all the way up 49th Street to the industrial area in North St. Petersburg and some of the unincorporated areas. And then it would travel along East Bay all the way over to downtown Clearwater, up to Park Street Terminal. It was a really long route. It did have a lot of rides. However, we split that into 2 bus routes because of those kind of distinct markets that route was serving. The 52 now travels from PSTA to Park Street Terminal in Clearwater, still on East Bay, every 15 minutes. So we increased the frequency of that route in the northern portion because that is where we saw most of the ridership. The southern portion is now Route 49, which is also broken into the top 5. This route you see in green here, it comes from Largo Transit Center, makes its way over to 49th Street, and then takes 49th Street all the way down from the industrial area to 18th Avenue South in St. Petersburg, and then takes 18th Avenue South all the way through South St. Pete, and then connects to downtown St. Petersburg. This route has broken into our top 5, a brand new route, and that is almost 2,000 passengers a day and on pace for about 50,000 rides in the first month. And so these are our new, some old. This is how our top 5 ridership routes are shaking out now with these changes. We also just launched the Spark as part of this effort. That is the service that runs from Grand Central Station all the way down to Eckerd College on 34th Street South, providing consistent 7-day-a-week, every 15-minute service. This service was modeled kind of after the Sunrunner in that the stops are wider spaced, it has more consistent service 7 days a week, and it runs more frequent. And similar to the Sunrunner, due to the nature of this service, we're able to offer a faster, more frequent service with less buses because of the spacing of those stops. So we're seeing about 840 rides a day on weekdays. Saturday and Sunday do get a little lower, about 530 and 370 almost on Sundays. And while those numbers may seem a little low, this is 3 buses in a relatively short route, and there aren't a lot of places, a lot of routes that we serve in Pinellas County where we could see 840 rides a day with only 3 buses. So again, that kind of wider stop spacing really allows us to maximize our resources in that corridor. And we've had almost 11,500 rides in the first 2 weeks of November. Our highest ridership stops are Grand Central Station, I think as we would expect, we know this is a connection for a lot of our riders on the south side or on the north side coming down to the Skyway Marina District. We also see quite a lot of transfers around 18th Avenue South and Queensboro. And then down here at 37th Street, this is our Spark station right in front of the Bay Point Plaza Publix down there. And at that same stop, you can connect to 4 other bus routes, including the Route 4 that's every 15 minutes. So really good connections to the Spark. We also launched the Snapper starting on October 26th, and through the first few weeks of November, we've seen some positive ridership numbers. This service is Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and it provides an on-demand route for riders who live in areas where we've removed fixed route service. So the purple zone right here in Clearwater was formerly served by Route 67, and then the purple zone in Safety Harbor was previously served by Route 814. Safety Harbor already had this kind of on-demand service, but we've redesigned that service entirely and brought it under the Snapper umbrella, and in the first few weeks, we have seen 97 rides on Snapper Clearwater and 21 on Snapper Safety Harbor. So this is a snapshot of the first few weeks. All of this data is still preliminary, and we are sifting through mountains of data as we speak on the new bus network. However, the early trends are really in line with what we've been expecting when we implement this plan, and so we're very happy to see that. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions from anybody?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a question, but I still cannot hide my excitement for
I
the
saw
new
you clap.
Spark. Yay! So I am so excited with that because Eckerd College and the students are in my district. So I am just so elated that we are looking at opportunities to increase mobility in the city of St. Petersburg. I would be remiss if I did not thank you all for working that out. Thank you, Ms. Darden. And I look forward to taking my granddaughters on a joyride on this Spark. So for that, I do want to applaud you for everything that you are doing for PSTA, making us the #1 transportation company in the nation. So for that, I say thank you. That's it, Chair. Now,
And I wanted to mention that I've seen several snappers up in North Clearwater coming down and you know, people are asking me about it now, so they're noticing also. So I think that'll be a popular service.
It's good to hear.
Any other questions? Comments? Thank you, Devin.
You know,
Go ahead.
yeah, if you don't mind, I don't know if this would be other business or ridership, it's all related. I've mentioned this in the past and kind of flagging this for future discussion. I'd love to see us get to 10-minute headways on the Sunrunner. And so maybe just a request to start looking into that. Let's confirm, do we have enough buses? Let's figure out how much that would cost. Or, you know, early stages for discussions on that, but just want to throw it out there. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Devin. Okay, does any committee member have any other business? All right, then our next meeting is January 21st at 10:30 a.m. and I'll call this meeting adjourned.
All right.
thank you, Chair.
See you then.
Y'all have a good holiday.